express what I want to express. If I want to say a house, a stone, I call it a stone so that you can know the difference between a stone and a tree. And anybody that I speak to communication wise, I'm able to make clear meaning as to what I'm trying to express to that fellow person. And so God's words, they are visibly there. I'm sure it's also there in the Bible. It reveals some similar statement of that nature. It's visibly, the attributes of God are visibly there. Okay? So if we find these words here, which is telling us that death, we know what death is. We know, we experience death. We've seen people dying every day. War taking place, people's life are being taken every day. Now, these things that I see, that I've witnessed, that I know as a fact, are they meant to be there? What, even if they are meant to be there, what does it bring to the human heart? It makes us frightened. It makes us so uncomfortable because we don't have any desire to leave when we come. We want to stay. It's just comparable to that man who took up the throne to become a chief or to become a minister or to become a pastor or to become a leader in any class of prime minister or queen or king or whichever way. The desire is that you will be there forever. You don't want to leave. You want the comfort that you have got. It's the same way that when you are born into the world, you don't want to leave. You want to have that comfort. You want to be here forever. Because it is, even if whatever the situation is, even a poor man is feeling sadness in him when death is taking him. Even a poor man is not happy when he's dying, even though he's living a poor life and suffering. He doesn't want to die. He doesn't want to live because he thinks if he lives, if he's living, he's got more chance to go out of his poverty than dying. And death also is something that nobody knows where you are going. So there is that fear, there is that uncertainty. So when a human being is born into the world, nobody wants to die, nobody wants to live. So death is something uncomfortable. Nobody wants it. So we wonder, is it part of our life? Are we meant to die or are we meant to live? If somebody is taking another person's life, has he got the right to do that? Even if the person says so. All these things are into context. Why is it so? Because we know ourselves as a human being that these things bring some discomfort into our life. And the fact that it brings that, it tells us that they are not meant to be there. That is what it's telling us. That is what our instinctive mind is suggesting to us, that this is it, that we do not want these things, or these things are not meant to be. So you have a Bible where will tell you that a time is going to come, I will wipe all these things away from you. Now, is it the Bible that brought these things upon your life and my life? In so many ways, in this book, the truthfulness is also there from the genesis of the book, the very beginning. That God brought it upon us, but God blamed us of something. That is why he brought it upon us. So it is not entirely him accepting the blame or accepting responsibility of which he is entirely did it without a reason, but a reason that he justifies on the fact that we also, in our independency, which I didn't know I am so independent and individually have my own powers of my own until the book suggests it. Because I find it strange to find out where I came from. I wonder whether God, when we talk of God, God feels the same way. Does God know where he came from? Does God knows? Or does God worry about where he has come from, like I do? Maybe that is not the case for God. But maybe God knows where he has come from. But God has made himself in a situation of gaining power on the grounds that he doesn't believe he came from anywhere. He believes he existed. This is an authority of power that he has. How he got it, his power, or how he is God, I don't know. Whether it is we who have given power to someone or some divine being there as a result of our desire and our ignorance of not knowing where we come from, and that made us fall into this trap of giving, some respect or some regards to a divine God and say that's where we came from because we want to feel that we came from somewhere. I quite don't really get it. But logically, if you look at it clearly, God's claim of being God is mainly on the fact that he does not believe he came from anywhere. I don't think God will believe for 1 second that he came from somewhere. No, he is not going to submit himself to anything. So in God's rigid stance of power and his ability to be as he is, or who is exercising of power, it's just like any person out there who decide to disregard everything, even his own father and mother, and say that, no, I am who I am. It's like what we say, stubbornness. There are childs or people who are like that. There are these human characters that believe that nothing is above them, and it is more of a God attitude. Nothing should be above God. That's what I believe. That's what most people would believe. But do we ask ourselves this question that, where did God come from? If we all have come from somewhere, God must also come from somewhere. We all have come from out of somewhere. So God must also come from somewhere. But the religion presents a beginning. A beginning, that means it started from there and it did not come from anywhere. It just started out of the blue. Boom, God started. God was there. God is a divine being that he has his own power. He had his power. I don't see the logic behind it, but that is what the whole thing is about. Now, what about me? If I exercise the same thing, I don't know, I have not seen God yet. Now, am I trying to make myself God? No. Even in this book of the Bible, it is revealed by Jesus Christ himself. Is it not written or said in these books that ye all are gods? Why would he make such statement, or why is this made in the book of the Bible to say that ye all are gods? It's based on this, that our independent rights, or we exercising our free will, then gives God the sort of the chance, not really the chance, but the right to say that we are guilty because we are independent of our own life. We have that will to be ourselves. We came from nowhere. It's just like God saying, I am who I am, and we are who we are. And so, are we accepting God being the creator if we are in that situation? Oh, he may have created us anyway. Maybe that's what we are supposed to think, that he may have created us anyway, but he created us in certain ways, in a way that we will be independently living our own life. We will have our own right to live and our will to live the way we want, make our own choices without him holding us or interfering us or undermining us in any way, so that we will be responsible for our wrongs and rights. Maybe that is what the case. In fact, that is what the Bible or the preachers somehow reveals, or somehow makes it all look like. So if that is the case, then you are responsible. It's like you are adults of your own. Just like a parent would blame his own child when the child is of age and he does something wrong. He says, yes, I blame you for it because you are responsible. You're fully aware of what is wrong and what is right. You knew, I told you everything, and you deliberately did the wrong thing, so I'll punish you for that. It's the same thing we are experiencing here in religion. God is telling me and you that if you are religious or if you are not, it's just a straightforward message that you and I have done something wrong to him, or we have disobeyed him. Now, and because you've disobeyed him in so many ways, he then cursed you. He then said you would die. He then said you will be sick. He then said, I'll take all the privileges that you got away from you. But my question that